Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Cindy Brown, and let's queer up lesbians and queer women. Lesbian comedian Jessica Kirson apologizes for performing in Saudi Arabia. Lesbian comedian Jessica Kirson has issued a public apology for performing at a comedy festival in Saudi Arabia, a country where queer rights are nearly non-existent. Kirson appeared at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, part of the Saudi government's Vision 2023 initiative aimed at promoting cultural events. But critics have condemned the effort as an attempt to whitewash the kingdom's record on human rights, particularly the harsh anti-LGBTQ+ laws. Homosexuality remains illegal in Saudi Arabia and can be punishable by death. Speaking to The Hollywood Reporter, Kirson said she was surprised to be invited given her openness about being Jewish and lesbian. She asked organizers if she could, quote, be openly out on stage and perform gay material, end quote, and they agreed. Her September 29th performance marked the first open acknowledgment of queer identity in a Saudi venue. Still, Kirson says the decision has weighed heavily on her. She told Hollywood Reporter, quote, I deeply regret performing under a government that violates human rights, end quote. Kirson also mentioned donating her festival fee to a human rights group. She hopes her apology sparks dialogue about how artists can use their platforms responsibly. Now, I actually worked with Jessica years ago, brought her to Miami for several shows. And when I first read the story, I was like, why would she perform in Saudi Arabia? Mm-hmm. But, when she talked about it being an effort to bring more culture and that they had no qualms about her being herself and performing her act openly, I can see her seeing it as a potential learning opportunity for the people in Saudi Arabia. And the fact that it was the first time a queer comedian performed in a Saudi venue, or probably an openly queer anything, performed in a Saudi venue. I can see that could put a little dent in something. But I also understand that when there are governments that are so horrible on human rights issues with the LGBT community, I mean, literally, it's punishable by death.
Right.
I can see why there's a lot of backlash, and I respect her for her decision and her apology, because I believe it was really a heartfelt apology.
Yeah. And I assume that that the performance itself, though, was done with good intentions, goodwill. I'm not convinced that it was a terrible thing. It happened at some risk, because I'm sure she had a lot of protection. She was there officially, blah, blah, blah. But if she enraged some religious fanatic or whatever, they could have, there was some risk involved. And some people, for the first time ever, saw someone stand up in public and say, I'm gay.
Right. Yep.
And,
exactly.
and I'm having a life and I love my life. That somebody heard that for the first time, and they may not hear it again,
right.
For a long, long time. I was surprised that there was a comedy festival, because comedy is edgy. It makes fun of things. And comedy, you know what I mean? And the religious part of things, they don't like making fun of things, especially if it's something they value. So it's almost encouraging that they have, because when you have comedy, where you have arts, you have openings.
Exactly. That's why I said we got a little chink in their armor there.
It's very seditious to be a comic, especially. And are we never supposed to go anywhere where we're hated? Because she also can't then perform in Texas. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, sometimes there's something to be said about, I'm sort of here in an underground to encourage my people and also to challenge their oppressors. maybe that's a romanticized view. Maybe like, yeah, but they made money. It's an oil kingdom. They make money in their sleep. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm sorry that she felt bad about it. If she gives the money to a great thing, great. Something good came out of it. But I just don't know that we sometimes are just so quick to beat up, because and I just don't know. I think it was maybe more complex than people thought, and that she did more good than they realized.
I will say, though, that if there are people who had personal experiences with the Saudi government and the LGBT community and whatnot, maybe that's who she's apologizing to.
Right.
Because I could understand them getting upset. I mean, there are people who get upset just because they want to stir up shit.
Yeah.
But
she's awesome.
But I also think it's also like a cultural thing as well, because honestly, she's coming to a new domain saying, hey, I'm going to perform my material that honestly I'm being accepted in different cultures and different, countries. And at the end of the day, they're coming into it and she's like, you know what, I maybe hurt somebody, or probably people will misunderstand some of the jokes and some of the lines. And I think it's also, as an artist, she's taking responsibility and owning up to her mistakes and saying, hey, I'm sorry to come in to rough here. Let me see how can I fix it. Where I think that's the first step of being apologetic and being sincere, which is very important.
Agreed, and I think she's truly a trailblazer.
Yes, I do.
She's funny.
And she's smart.
Yeah.
And the irony is, her usual shtick is to talk to the audience.
Right.
So I wonder how that went down,
Well, I'm
or
sure there
if
was
that
a lot of
went down.
expats
She exposes
over there,
she exposes us. Like she'll put you on the spot. Like, are you married?
Yeah.
Are you gay? Are you a lesbian?
Right?
Yeah.
It's hilarious like that. So I wonder how that went
smart.
down.
And we have to have comedy in our lives.
Absolutely.
If we couldn't laugh,
We have to.
Yeah,
have to.
Yeah, it's a good thing she's doing. I just, for me personally, I am less offended that she performed in a place that hates us than I am about people who claim to love us, but then were praising Charlie Kirk after he died.
exactly.
Right.
And so I'm not going to mention any Chenoweth names or anything, but I was more actually bothered and actually hurt by that
Yeah.
than somebody making a living pushing boundaries.
Right.
But we each have our own opinions, and for now, maybe from about 3.5 days, we can say whatever we want. We have freedom of speech for a minute longer, so we all have our opinions.
Oh, Lord.
And we'll talk about that in another show. But that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.